Hey guys, Coach Victor here from the Thai Boxing Institute of Mar Vista, California. And in this video, we're going to cover how to properly throw hooks from both sides. So far in our Muay Thai 101 series, we've covered straight punches, right? Which is just the jab and the cross. From the orthodox stance, it's the left or the right punch. Last two punches that we need to cover are hooks and uppercuts. Hooks and uppercuts, we call them curved punches, right? Because if you want to check out the angle or the shape of the punch, it's either here or there. So there's a specific way of throwing them, and we're going to cover both left and right. We're going to start off with hooks first. When we throw the hook, there's a few things you want to pay attention to. One of them is you always want to have your opposite hand up. Second is chin down. And third is your shoulder protecting the other side of your chin and jaw. Now, when we throw hooks, there's two ways of approaching it. Okay, one is if we're throwing a stationary hook, and one is if we're throwing a walking hook, right? For example, if we're throwing a combination 1-2 hook, we want to learn how to be able to walk with our hook. First is a stationary hook. Oftentimes I get asked, what about the pivot? Okay. So let's pay attention to what the pivot is first, as well as all the other different details of the hook. All right, we're here in our fight stance, hands up, chin down, legs shoulder width apart. When I throw a left hook, lead hook, check it out. I'm on the ball of the foot on the left leg, right? When I initiate the hook, I feel my heel turn, right? What it looks like is there, right? That is the pivot. Now, up to you if you want to throw the pivot with every hook. Thai style, right? Thai style boxing, you can just get away with swinging the torso, right? But if you want to add power to your technique, you want to get used to being able to pivot, right? It's neither right nor wrong. I'll tell you that right now. Honestly, what matters most is the other mechanics of the punch, like the torso turning, the knuckles rotating, and the breath. Those are all details that you want to pay attention to in order for you to have a good hook. So let's cover all those things now. So we're here in our fight stance, hands up, chin down, leg shoulder width apart. Left arm up. Again, just do it stationary, kind of working on the pivot. Pay attention to my shoulder line, right? When I initiate the hook, we're parallel. When I engage in the hook, at the end of the engagement, you're gonna see my body turn perpendicular. Check it out, right? So this is a hook right here. I would say this is like a medium hook. This is a short hook. This is a long hook. Let's focus on the medium hook. Opposite hand up, chin down. Okay. Look, shoulder protecting my chin and jaw. Now this is another important detail when I throw the hook. Is that my forearm and my arm, right? Look, it's that my arm from the shoulder all the way to the knuckles is parallel to my face, right? You don't want to throw a hook right here because now you're leaving your face exposed, as well as the left side of your face and chin and jaw, right? So in order for you to have like protection as you're engaging, as you're fighting, you want to have everything leveled, right? Furthermore, look at the torso rotation. That pivot is going to aid in that follow through of the torso rotation. Cool, right? The hook, right? The hook, you throw it, and then when you meet the target, you snap it back, right? You don't want to get used to like throwing it and then looping it down, or throwing it and then kind of like stirring it in. It looks like, you know, you're stirring a pot. You're going like this. You want to hit it, back to stance, right? Back to stance, one more, back to stance. If you notice my breath, right? It's like a tight exhalation from the diaphragm. And that's going to create a very like a ballistic effect with the hook. Back to stance, back to stance. That's a stationary hook, right? What about like if you want to start walking with it? Same thing, we start in a fight stance. Now, as I throw that hook, instead of pivoting, my left leg is going to step towards the direction of where the hook is turning. You got that? So I'm foregoing the pivot, but it's gonna position my body in a manner that will allow me to follow through. If you see this right here, right? Toes, ankle, knee, hip, shoulder line, hook execution, back to stance. This is a stepping hook. So let's review both of them real quick so you guys can kind of differentiate the difference. This is a stationary pivoting hook. This is a stepping hook. Why? Where would you use those two different hooks? First one would be in like the pivoting hook, for example. If I'm stationary and I fire a combination, 1, 2, hook, back to stance, right? That's going to allow me to pivot. But what if my opponent is moving away, right? And then I got to chase them down using that stepping hook. The last thing I want to cover is palm positioning, right? So what's ultimately most important is that you're hitting with the first 2 knuckles of your fist. I'll get asked if it's palm down or palm facing you, and that's really a personal preference. Sometimes this kind of hook, right, palm down, is comfortable. Sometimes this kind of hook is comfortable. You have to play with it and see what works for you. What about the right hook? I think the right hook is the easiest punch to throw. This is a very innate movement that we have in us. So let's check it out. Everything about the right hook, the rear hook, is the same, right? We start in our fight stance. Now, left leg steps, right? When we don't step at an angle, we step straight. It's the back foot. That's the action, right? Look at my shoulder line. We're parallel, right? Perpendicular for the follow through. Look at the back foot. Pivoting, the heel turns. Pivot, boom, back to stance, right? Opposite hand up. Arm leveled with the shoulder line. You can throw a palm down or palm facing you, right? Up to you. What's really important is the quality of the breath and the retraction. What if they're moving forward? Yet again, you can step with it, and instead of the pivot, you just adjust your leg towards the direction of the punch as if you were pivoting. Back to stance. The right hook. Where would we use hooks, right? Hooks are typically thrown on the side of the face, either aiming for the temple, the jaw, or the chin if it's exposed. So if you want to pay attention to someone's guard, right, this is the front way of looking at someone's guard. And if we look at the side, see this little triangle? That's where your hooks are going. Same thing on this side. This little triangle here, that's where your hook is going. So when you're practicing hooks, you want to visualize those lines, those curves going into those little pockets of your opponent. I know that was quite a bit, right? So let me give you a few key takeaways. I think the biggest one is the torso rotation. This mechanic, right? That's gonna help you with the follow through. And as always, guys, opposite hand up and chin down. Don't throw a hook with your head extending forward, yeah? And then the last thing, make sure you always breathe. Ha, right? Ha. Exhale. Alrighty, y'all, and that is it. If you guys found this video useful and engaging, I'd appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to be notified when we upload new videos, leave a comment. All these things help us out immensely. Other things that you can do to help us out is add us on Instagram at the Thai Box Institute, or check out our merch page, tbimerch.com. And with that in mind, I really appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much for all your support. See you next time. Take care.